And we are live.
Yes, indeed.
Good morning, Crypto Warriors, and welcome back to the Gentlemen of Crypto, episode 255. Today is Tuesday, September 25th, and I'm King.
And I'm Bitcoin Zay, and we are here to bridge the gap between cryptocurrency and the community Monday through Friday at 10-ish.
At 10-ish.
Which is right now.
Right. What's going on, Bruno? What's going on, Tessa? Good morning, Evan, Crypto Ty, Marcellus. Hello, hello.
Oh, we're not gonna take.
We're not gonna take. That's gonna be the new theme song, right?
New intro.
Get the rights to that thing. Allison, what's going on? All right, for the free Satoshis yesterday, who won?
Oh yeah, so we have a repeat winner for our free Satoshis.
What?
Shout out to Christopher Ladd. He's definitely one of our more frequent commenters.
Crispy winning some crypto.
Hey man, yeah, definitely putting out some good comments there. In response to our question, which was we saw some blockchain bills get introduced to Congress, and we wanted to know, as an investor or as a crypto person, what do you think you would change about the laws right now? He stated that no taxes on crypto-to-crypto transactions, which at the very least has to be one of the things that they introduced, simply because crypto has no jurisdiction. It's not, only U.S., using the U.S. It's not controlled by the U.S. Even though U.S. people may use it, that was a good comment. Thank you for that. And we should see something like that coming around soon. So thank you for that, Chris Ladd.
Thank you, Chris. Congrats. There you go. All right, let's jump into it. The theme the last couple of weeks, of course, is a slow news cycle, and we continue on with that, but it's still some out there.
Oh, yeah.
Breaking news is now Google to reverse crypto ad ban for exchanges advertising in the United States and Japan.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
We'll give them a slight clap.
Right, a slight. I was gonna say, this is a slight clap.
Get a little half
Yeah,
clap.
a little half one time.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
Little neck clap.
Google is set to update its ad policy in October, re-allowing some crypto businesses to advertise on its platform. The company announced today in an official post. They basically are being quoted as saying advertisers would need to be certified with Google for the specific country in which their ads will serve. Advertisers will be able to apply for certification once the policy launches in October. To me, this just says, all right, for you big guys like Coinbase or some of these Japanese exchanges, we're going to charge you a lot of money to advertise on our platform. However, in return, you will literally have no competition because we're going to make it illegal for everyone else.
Oh, yeah. And I think this is, sort of the good and bad of it. The good I see in it is, yes, the certified registered companies can get in there. Sort of the bad part of it is that once you open this door, you have to keep going down it. So once they start saying, okay, you're registered, you can get in, you're registered, you can get in, they can just add another layer to it where you're registered and you're worth this certain amount, or you're registered and you have this amount of volume on your exchange. So, whatever the next step is, but I can kind of see that happening down the road. But this ban does get rid of a lot of the annoying ICOs. Jesus Christ, it was so many ICOs popping up in December and November, and most of them, they didn't even have a white paper ready. So it was like, all right, what are you advertising? Like, come join the movement, come join the come join the new wave,
obscure
the new
words.
Whatever, man. I saw some ICOs that were for nothing. So it does get rid of that. However, like we said, it's Google. We all know that they are the feds. They do what they have to do to stay in business. So, but this does help them because now that you can let exchanges, I'm sure Coinbase and them are going to pay a pretty penny to get those advertisements
definitely
going.
Google probably reversed it once they wait. You paying 15 mil, 10 million to get listed on Shane? Well, come on over to Google for this advertising. Then 20 million up top. We'll get you in the top 3 clicks on every page. No worries.
Yeah, and I wonder how the tiers will work. Like how much it'll get promoted, how the algorithms work. It remains to be seen, but crypto advertisement is one of those things that it hasn't really been tapped yet. Like, how many commercials have we seen? Maybe 5 that have mentioned blockchain, maybe 1 pure crypto. Hasn't really been tapped, and we don't see a lot of the marketing mainstream. You see it on CoinMarketCap or when you Google search crypto all the time. But it hasn't hit mainstream yet, so it's still wide open. So if you're in the marketing game, hey, this is your time to shine now that they can get on Google.
And please don't be naive. This is literally a business move. And the reason being, as you can see, they're doing it for United States and Japan. It wasn't business behind it opening it up across the board. But since they're just doing it for these 2 countries where, of course, it's big money, you know the deal. So,
it's all about money, people. You got to know that by now.
JPMorgan blockchain platform on board 75 multinational banks to keep payments in-house. This is a hilarious story. We told you this was going to happen, though. I mean, they're inching closer and closer toward it. The only reason they haven't made any big PR releases or anything like that, is because the market's down, wait until it bounces back. They're going to be talking about it. But JPMorgan has expanded its blockchain payment platform to over 75 multinational banks. The goal of the participants' combined efforts is to fight off competition from outside of the banking sector. I wonder what that competition is. Right.
And doesn't that go against the monopoly laws? Can't you not? You can't conform.
Well, JPMorgan, they're allowed to break laws.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, I'm sure they got their lawyers are sitting there licking their chops like, I wish somebody would sue us for this. We've been waiting for this all our life.
Of course, this is talking about their Quorum blockchain. We covered that before. Again, this Quorum blockchain has been under development since October 2017. So literally during the bull run, they decided to make the Quorum blockchain.
Yeah.
I don't trust many companies or people in crypto right now from October to December. That don't get me wrong, not that's doing things in the space, but at least like touting things like this, like, hey, we're the next new whatever. It's like you came in the middle of a bull run, man.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. You literally just popped up when everybody else did. And then you have a product ready in less than a year. I doubt it.
They're saying their blockchain payment is one of the segments banks worry about most in terms of seeding to non-bank competition, and blockchain is a way to keep more of those payments business in house. Again, this is who is this? And this is their analyst speaking, Jason Goldberg, from the Interbank Information Network (IIN). But it's one of those things where look, we said it's going to happen. Literally. It's not a blockchain. They're using their own private database. They're using the same thing they've been using. They could have already made transactions cheaper and faster. They chose not to. They got competition from the outside. Now they're saying, no, okay, we're going to do it. And we have 75 banks that are doing as well. I mean, it could be 75 different JPMorgan banks around the world. Like, what are you talking about? It's literally just an email to, hey, start using this to store all your information, do transactions.
Yeah, and I do have one question. If this is what JPMorgan and other banks are going towards, why do we need Ripple?
Right.
What will Ripple?
Hey, Brad, you gonna let this go?
Yeah, I mean, if the Ripple protocol, because XRP people and Ripple, they always get mad whenever you say the same thing. But Ripple, the payment network, if it's between banks,
if it's between Quorum blockchain and the Ripple,
JP Morgan comes out with a better product, it will be interesting to see what will you be used for, because retail investors don't need it. There is no reason for it, and after that 40% pump and then retrace. It's sort of one of those things where people starting to see the writing on the wall.
Right. As far as JPMorgan, hey, if you really believe in your blockchain, as you call it, even though it's just a literally internal database, but if you really believe in it, then tokenize that bad boy. Let us trade it. Hey, we told you we'll trade it all, right? You say you got 75 banks. I'm sure you're going to get many more. Literally, I mean, if they come up with it, all they have to say is for every JPMorgan bank, at the very least, you will be using this. You do that, let's say you get one other bank, you get Wells Fargo on it or something like that, another international bank, HSBC. I mean, you're in business now. I would trade that token. So, Dino Diamond, we know you listen because every time we say something, like 2 days later, you all put out like a correction we made. But let's go ahead and tokenize your Quorum blockchain. And let's see what's happening. And, another thing about it, too, again, this Quorum blockchain was under development, October 2017. Again, I think one or two of those people in the top 10 of the 40 under 40 crypto list, I think it was like number 5, one of the people made it because they worked on the Quorum blockchain. I'm like, what? You and made the top 40 under 40 in crypto?
And they haven't even finished it
from 6 months of work?
Oh yeah. If you didn't know lists were rigged, you really know now in the crypto world, because I haven't seen half of these people. I mean, usually the top 5 or 10 is well known because you can't fudge that. But the rest, you be like, who? They did what? It was like, they did something 3 months ago. Yeah. Well,
again, we know what happens next. Again, right now they're building this thing up. They're getting their banks on their side. And during the next bull run, I'm guaranteeing when you see these Google ads and you see these commercials, JPMorgan Chase will have a commercial for their blockchain, Quorum, whatever. They will have Google ads up, and they'll be trying to push the population back toward the banking center by saying, you don't need this Bitcoin, all the block. We have our own blockchain.
Yeah, we are moving to the future with innovation, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And blah, 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 that you can depend on. I can guarantee you now, they're going to have some soft-voiced woman talking about how JPMorgan is now the new standard for payments, whatever.
Oh, man. They're going to troll us, and their commercials are going to start off, JPMorgan Chase, the new standard for...
for blockchain technology.
Right.
Yeah, whatever, man.
The U.S. government has spent millions trying to track cryptocurrency users. Again, this is something we've been talking about, how they're literally using our tax money to figure out how to tax us. But looks as though the U.S. government has been going all in on tracking cryptocurrency usage, citing public records. Research firm Deere reports that the U.S. government agencies have collectively spent $5.7 million on hiring contractors who perform blockchain analysis, which involves linking an individual's identity with their cryptocurrency funds. So they spent almost $6 million to track cryptocurrency addresses when literally you could just dump it and start another one.
Yeah. And you can move it to another crypto that has nothing to do with an exchange or nothing to do. I mean, you could just swap it, air swaps. Hey man, good luck with that. They spent $5.7 million, but it is interesting to see who most of that money is spent with. $5.3 million of it, which is pretty much all of it, is spent with Chain Analysis, which is a company. That's all they do. They use their tools.
So we're just funding the startup, then, basically.
Yeah, basically.
Can I get some of that equity in it then?
Yeah, exactly. Can I at least fund the people who go track me? But yeah, that's basically what Chain Analysis uses. Is their tools in order to link cryptocurrency to certain people. And one of the things that I've seen with governments is they don't have the people on their side to do it. They find private companies that do, they pay them, and this is what you get as far as tracking people who use cryptocurrency, which to me is a waste of time overall, because we keep proving over and over cryptocurrency hasn't funded terrorism.
Right.
It doesn't buy El Chapo worth of drugs. Like, people aren't buying out here, buying crazy stuff, but the few big fish that they have found, it's all money, people. They literally are just like, you are making too much money without us. So this is what they got to do.
And it literally says 38% of this spending has been coming from the IRS.
Oh, yeah.
And, they signed 9 contracts with cryptocurrency forensic providers, together worth just under $2.2 million. And again, represent 38% of the government's total spending on these services. This is ridiculous. Again, it's one of those things where, we've been confiscating cryptocurrency, Ross Ulbricht and some of these other cases where you've been hearing about, lady in California, I guess a couple months ago. But you've been hearing about these cases where the United States government has been literally just taking, people's cryptocurrency and, criminalize them or saying they did whatever. And one of the things we said back then is, instead of continuing to use our taxpayer money on this or taxing us in general in the cryptocurrency space, use all the money you're taking and just and put it toward it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's way more than $5.7 million right there alone from 2 or 3 of the people they've already arrested and confiscated their Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all that. Just use that money toward whatever pipe dream you have about tracking all the innocent users using cryptocurrency.
Hey, the squeeze is on. The Alphabet Boys is out. There's a lot of different groups that are in on this: FBI, DEA, SEC. What I've always said about this crypto space is, if you don't take it serious, then you are not paying attention, simply because if the government agencies take it serious, then it's usually a big deal. Right. And this is what we see here. So everybody knows this is coming, or knew it was coming. I believe more of in a self-regulatory environment, because they could just fund self-regulation where people can come up with whatever rules that they feel responsible and within whatever framework they have. But long term, this is why we're in crypto. You want to get away from a bunch of people you don't know making decisions on stuff that does affect you. So
yeah, let's go on to sort of some of the comments. Captain James says it's a wrap for the banks. If you have Bitcoin, you literally don't need a bank. The moment more people fully understand this, the quicker we can get away from this banking system.
Yeah.
Crypto Ty said, when's the last time you ever seen banks move this fast with development and innovation?
Oh man, it's
LOL,
amazing.
They are scared. But you see how that works? I mean, how crazy is that? If crypto never came, then we would still be on the same structure. Literally, went to the bank the other day and put a check into the business account, and they wouldn't let me cash it. They said a check has to stay in your business account for 24 hours before you're allowed to withdraw. And
wow.
I'm just looking at the teller. Are you serious? This is real life right now. You can't.
When did y'all make that?
Your own private business, you can't take money out if you're putting a check in. So again, as these antiquated rules that just make it ridiculous to even use banks.
Oh, yeah. Captain James, you're right. Between the bank fees and government taxes, you damn near have to break the law just to live a nice life.
Listen,
that's the
that's
point.
what we've been trying to tell people. It's
that's the point.
unfortunate.
If you want to move to different higher tax brackets, oh, trust me, the hurdles you have to go through are ridiculous. And we've seen it personally on our side. We've seen other people who have discussed it. And, you know, a lot of the times the fees are killing people who are just trying to live everyday regular lives just from, you know, you got to pay a monthly fee to keep your money in a place. Like,
if you don't have the money, it's this $35 fee on that, you know, so.
Then you got to beg to get it out. Like,
and listen, and talking about the law again, people get so caught up into the law. Just look at the law from 1970 and before all of that in the United States, all right? Amen. Or across the world. Slavery used to be legal across the entire world. Across the planet, slavery is legal, people.
Yeah.
You know, in the United States, you know, the issues we've dealt with as far as, you know, different water fountains you drink off, where you can sit on buses, where you can go to school, segregation, desegregation. All this is law. Yeah. So, I mean, you're right, Captain James. You know, it's unfortunate, and we don't, you know, we're not advocating break the law or anything, but you got to do what's best for you and your family. And and right now it looks like a lose-lose situation to play by all the rules that have been created by other people, just like you and I. So
yeah, and I will say Gervais Wright, who says, I still don't understand how it's being confiscated if one owns their private keys. And John Siebert actually answered it the way I would too, is most people don't know that if you don't give up the private keys, there's nothing they can do with it. Right. So you could be, you know, scared into it. You could basically say if you don't hand it over, it's sort of like if you have millions of dollars and they're like, well, we know it's somewhere if you don't hand over the keys. If we don't take something, then you're going away for longer. People get scared into it and they just give it away. So that's one of the things that unfortunately it happens. But it is true, Crypto Ty. How do they know somebody is the owner of that crypto? Somebody's 7-year-old son could use their dad's laptop for crypto. Someone that
I just gave away, or I just disposed of an old computer. Somebody gets their hands on that. That's a whole nother IP address.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's weird how they'll track it, but like we always said, is most of the big fish are the ones they're looking for.
Yeah, they want the money. They don't.
Yeah, I mean, they're not looking for your $300 you bought in crypto back.
But if you move $300,000-$400,000, oh, they're coming.
Exactly. Yeah, then you might have a bigger problem. So, you know, it's one of those things that you have to deal with it in this space, but like we always said, or like we said yesterday, we're not going to take it.
We'll move before we take it. Seriously.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle.
Early execs leave Block One, the Peter Thiel-backed crypto startup behind EOS. What is going on there?
Well, I'm not saying it's an exit scam, but it's looking quite scammy-ish. At this point, EOS is... This is one of the coins. This is probably the most the coin hype. Most people wanted us to talk about because of the hype. And I would just tell people you haven't been in this space long enough because everything is super hype. If you have a marketing machine behind it, which is what Block One was. Peter Thiel was backing behind it. If you don't know Peter Thiel, he was behind PayPal. He's behind a lot of startups. He started Marshall Islands. I mean, he's big money. So they have the money for the marketing. 4 early employees and 2 contractors have left. And it looks like, you know, the people who helped start EOS, a $4 billion or actually $5 billion valuation today, are leaving. Who knows why?
Which at this point makes no sense.
No sense.
This early in
the game. Yeah. We've seen this from other projects, and then they went like just died off. But I don't think EOS will completely die. It's just one of those things where it's too much chop in how it was created. Too many rules, in my opinion, with the governance and who can own it. And, you know, these guys left. And I can honestly say I'm confused. I don't know why they would leave, but more will come out. I'm sure we'll have a follow-up story to this.
Yeah, and it looks like they said that, I'm not sure this is before or after, but they said we left because we saw a need in the blockchain marketplace that Block One was not going to address. One of the former Block One employees said, but did not specifically comment on strong block strategy. All right, you want to talk about how they brought Mark Zuckerberg in for the Senate hearing? Hey, $5 billion, bring some of them in for a Senate hearing. What do you mean you left because they weren't addressing something? But you know about it, but you want to tell us.
But you want to tell us.
No, go ahead and share. This is what this community is about, which is why we like decentralized platforms, because that type of information gets shared.
Oh yeah,
very quickly at that.
Yeah, and I mean it's one of those companies to me that was backed by the same people who back other companies, so they could just leave instantly because they have other stuff going on. However, if you have EOS tokens right now, I mean, I really don't know what to tell you. I haven't dipped into it myself simply because it's too much uncertainty, and there was a lot of money raised for a non-decentralized coin. Like, this to me is just another company without a working product right now. So They have a, you know, the vision. I will say the video looked good. The vision sounded good when people were talking about it. Right now they have some stuff to clean up, but if they do, you know, they could be very resilient and get it together. They got billions of dollars at their disposal. So,
John Sieber said too much pre-sale, so $5 USD for one EOS enough for them to cash out. That may be true as well. I mean, they may be like, you know what?
It's a little extra scammy.
And you have to, exactly, you have to be careful with that in this space. It's, you know, a lot of these, I want to say, it was a couple of projects last year who said, hey, our goal is 10 million, whatever. We're capping it at 10 because we don't need 100 million to do this project. Those are the ones, I'm not saying you can just wholeheartly trust without doing your due diligence, but at least it leaves a better sign because these projects that go uncapped, 4 billion, you don't need $4 billion to start a project.
Yeah, no.
I mean, when you start in SpaceX, like, come on, people, think about those numbers.
Think about $4 billion, yeah.
With $4 billion, we should have had an EOS, another Ethereum, another Bitcoin. In fact, I want to Chase Bank in with that deal. You know what I mean? I want like 5 or 6 different projects in there with that deal.
Yeah.
So again, it's just something you got to pay attention to. We'll see what happens. We know Brock Pierce is one of the lead people there as well. And for those who don't know who he has a storied history. Not all positive.
Storied.
Yeah, storied histories. I like the way I put that PR kicking in. He has a very storied history. So, again, you just have to look at the project, some of the people behind it. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, a couple stats real quick. The network, it says that they've only conducted about 4,000 transactions at most at any given time.
What did you say, exit scam again?
Hey, man, very exit scammy-ish.
It is very exit scam.
And as of June, which was, you know, a while ago, it may have increased. Ethereum actually had 8 dApps running right now with about 300 or more active users, while EOS had 3. So, you know, as far as usefulness and the killer dApp that people are waiting for, it's going to take time, people. These are very, very, you know, bombastic and huge promises, so it's going to take time.
And Shinobi One just said the best, you know, year-long ICO, who needs $4 billion on a project? They have no reason to work.
Exactly.
That's the thing,
That's
people.
the point.
If you have a team of 10 or 20 or whatever, and you just did a $4 billion raise and your coin went up to $5 billion. So even that $4 billion is funny money. You got at least $1 billion of real money in that. There is no reason to work.
Yeah.
Again, which is why we go back to the decentralized projects. So we always talk about Dogecoin for a reason, because Dogecoin doesn't have $4 billion going to the creator, and they continue to work on the project. They have a good community.
Yeah.
Monero, they're not getting $4 billion. They continue to work on the project. They have a good community. You see where we're going? So, and again, Bitbean, right? Redcoin. But see, these are the projects again that you don't even hear about. You don't see the commercials. You don't see the advertisements.
Yeah.
They don't do these big raises, and they continue to work. Again, you know, I'm sure they had good intentions. Maybe they are coming out with something that will be amazing next year or two. But you're right; it looks very exit scamish.
Exit scamish.
And as Shinobi once said, they have. I mean, people $5 billion, and how much of that percentage that you own? I know at least 20% went to the team, right?
Oh yeah.
You have no reason to work.
Yeah. Yep.
Captain James, I'd rather you two have the $4 billion. See this, but you know what? We wouldn't even take the $4 billion because we'll tell you up front we're not going to work.
It's like, why are you giving me $4 billion?
It's already a tennis show, people, for a reason. Like, we're not going to work for $4 billion. But yeah, so that's the thing. You got to watch out with that.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, if we were trying to do a raise and we were trying to raise money, and you looked at the budget and it has anything with a B in it, like billion anything, there's no blockchain project that needs a billion anything, like ever. You could build a working blockchain for less than $1 million with some dedicated developers, honestly. I mean, and it's been done. We've seen a lot of these projects they've started with just small amounts of money, built from there, and then as you add on to it or more people invest in it, maybe you can use some of that cash later, but come on, man. This is ridiculous.
And not only that, when you think about the Airbnbs, I believe it's Uber as well, a lot of these things, a lot of these new tech startups in the traditional market that were started in the last 5 or 10 years, I can't think of the incubators, wherever the incubator name is, the big one in Silicon Valley, a lot of those teams are only allowed to have 2 to 4 developers.
Yeah. 2
to 4 developers, and they're making multi-billion-dollar projects and products.
Come on, man.
So when we do see these teams that have 10 different developers or 12 different developers, it's like, A, why do you need so many? B, where did you find this many at blockchain developers this good at this level? It's just raising a lot of questions. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, Coinbase had 6 developers when they first started.
Right. Coinbase has 6 developers, and look at it.
They were in an apartment, eating pizza and sleeping on couches. Like, that's how it starts.
Which caller even talked about when he went to the apartment on our show?
Yeah, Sinclair.
Sinclair Skinner.
Brian Armstrong.
He said they all were in an apartment. So, again, people, you got to look at what you're investing into. It does sound good on the outside, but I mean, if you're just, building these people empires, and they're not going to continue to work. It's just one of those things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
John Siebert said, I heard Tokyo will sold some Bitcoin again.
Yeah, from Mt. Gox.
You're up to Mt. Gox for $230 million. But that was kind of a wrap up in general of the amount they sold so far.
Yeah.
So they're selling it again. But the good thing is, they sold about $230 million worth of Bitcoin these last few months, and the price is still where it's at.
Yeah.
Again, these are some of the factors that counted to it.
Yeah, 230 million. Devarian Rose, grab your question. What's the least amount of money needed to create your own blockchain? You can create one for free, really. If you know how to code, and maybe Python, C++, you can create it from scratch, literally, if you have a laptop. The difference is a production style blockchain with thousands or even millions of transactions. And you have to catch bugs, and if you want to implement different technologies to it, that's just a lot of time. It's not a lot of money to do it, simply because that's why blockchains are great. It's a lightweight, simple way to get production going if you needed it with a cryptocurrency, but it's just time and people. But it's not one of those things you need millions and billions of dollars for if you're just building a simple blockchain.
I mean, honestly, and not even them. It was Teslas who had a big raise too, 200-something million, 230-something million. Even though they did kind of, that foundation is based off of government practice there where they're at. But just go back to it one last time for the $4 billion. I mean, they should have put $1 billion of that into lobbyists, lobbyists and politicians. We could have got this whole crypto industry up and rolling.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking at. So you guys are sitting on $4 or $5 billion. Again, the red flag was the bug bounties. They're all only offering $10,000 a bounty. That was a red flag. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But not only that, if you have all this excess cash that you don't know what to do, the market has clearly been going down. I'm sure they sold some all. But why not dedicate that, like Coinbase did, to the Political Action Committee? They say, you know what? Let's go here and change the course of history. This is eliminate competition through regulation.
Yep. Coinbase back.
EOS should be doing the same thing. Like a billion of that, $500 million of that should be going to lobbying, to regulations, and to eliminating competition, so EOS can be the #1 token out there. But since we're not seeing all of that, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, it makes you wonder.
SBI aims for cashless society with mobile payments token trial.
Yeah.
Financial giant SBI Group has announced that it is testing a crypto token to be used for retail payments over mobile devices.
Oh, man.
The group's investment arm, SBI Holdings, was launched Japan's first bank-backed crypto exchange in June, said in a news release Tuesday that it is about to kick off a proof-of-concept trial of its S-Coin token that is based on distributed ledger technology. What's going on with S-Coin SBI?
Well, all my conspiracy theorists out there think it's going to be one world government and a coin. This just fuels the fire more. For those of you out here who think, there's at some point there's going to be one coin, everybody's going to use it, or for each government they're going to have their own cryptocurrency. Sort of, because for one, they're using distributed ledger technology, which is a private database. And
I love how they're doing it.
And it's called the S-Coin, which you'll either be forced to use it through whatever platform you're trying to send, or you'll have an option to use it instead of cash. But we are moving towards a cashless society, even though cash is still king at this point. But people are still, they're trying to get it to a point where it's completely digital, which I do not like. You got to have more options for that. You got to have some sort of way to keep your money offline, because there's way too much security risk there. But the S-Coin platform, they have billions of dollars behind it, and it's just another token from another group of people who want to control your money, honestly. I mean, this is all it is. And let's see some of the things they're saying. It was like, on their website indicates it's high availability, scalability, and security in private or consortium networks.
Oh, I love all the words they're using.
Get out of here with that.
Sounds like it's a win.
Yeah, by doing this, we exchange cash with various electronic currencies and verify whether we can meet the needs of various users and vision. After that, we will promote consideration of electronic currency settlement, such as enabling settlement with Glory's products, which is the machine that SBI Holdings installed, which is Glory.
What's crazy is that once we've, if this does work for SBI, of course, like you said, they're going to look at it, they're going to do their own thing in different governments or institutions. But once that government does come out with that CBDC or whatever, they're literally going to try to make cash illegal.
Oh, yeah.
Like, how funny is it? It's going to be like 5 or 10 years from now. They're going to be like, oh, you can't use cash anymore. That's illegal. If you're caught using cash, it's 3 to 5 in prison.
Yeah, what you need cash for?
What? Yeah,
have
you
have
criminal?
you ever tried to take out cash from a bank and they literally ask you, so what do you need this cash for?
Right.
And you're like, it's none of your business.
Try to raise that ATM limit in Vegas. See what happens.
That is the nosiest person ever.
Yeah, I'm serious. You got to call. You got
what
to call.
Exactly are you using this for?
That's when I found
nothing. I just want to throw it on the bed and lay on it. Who cares? Like, what you?
That was one of my in-depth conversations. When one year in Vegas, I tried to take some money out of ATM. And I had to call them. They was like, well, why do you want more money? I'm like, you see the location I'm at? What do you think?
Exactly.
I'm here trying to get this back.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but that is not surprising. People, for our warriors who have been around, you knew this was coming. And these coins that they come out with, come on, man. Like, they got to do better than that. So, like we said, this is the year to make a decision.
Gervais Wright said, what type of feeling do we have about Daniel Larimer and his involvement in EOS? Daniel, of course, created BitShares and look, he was co-founder of Steemit.
Yeah, Steemit.
Right.
Yeah, I would say Steemit. I think he's noble in his approach. Like, he wants to build stuff that will, answer the questions. But I don't know him personally, and I haven't really dug deep into his business profile long term. But some of the stuff he's building. I mean, some people haven't done anything. So with Steemit, he's trying, I think. But EOS is very centralized, and some of the stuff he's done has succeeded, some's failed. That's how the business goes.
And you got to remember too. I mean, at this point to me, it's kind of like during World War II times where scientists were almost getting kidnapped or being overly paid. Like, hey, come make the next nuclear missile. Come make this. Come make that. Come make this rocket. It's the same thing with a lot of these developers and creators, where it's a lot of business people behind it that are saying, hey, we don't know what to do, whatever, X, Y, and Z. You do. We're going to pay you. You come in here and do this. Because they're jumping from project to project, which may be why some of those people already left. And they, like Bitcoins, they said, they might have great intentions. They go into the project, they do whatever part they're being paid to do, and then they leave. And,
Yeah, shout out to Daniel Larimer.
Right.
He's building, like we said, in this space. And, you're right, Shinobi. This project has done pretty good so far. I mean, it remains to be seen because this is a still 9-year,
right.
market. And, it takes a lot of time. So shout out to him for, building some products, getting it out there.
And he was the CTO of EOS. So with that is one of those things, again, his job might have been to come oversee the project itself. Not the money, not what's going on in marketing, not any of that. It may have been, hey, you built some great platforms up with Steemit already. You built another platform up. Can you just build us a platform as well? He went in there, tried to build it. So
yeah, it remains to be seen. But yeah, shout out to him, Daniel Larimer.
All right, for the free Satoshis, what are we doing today?
Oh yeah, so for the free Satoshis, when we discussed the U.S. government tracking crypto with different agencies, what is the amount that you think should be spent on this tracking, if at all? Some people think it should be more. Some people think it should be less. Let us know what you think. Put your public address, and we'll send those free Satoshis.
1 cent. Penny for your thoughts. Have a great Tuesday, people. Cheers.
Thank you for joining us.